Hello and welcome to Sit With Hitlist, our completely unscripted, unedited podcast and print series. My name is Mayank Shekhar. With me is actor Kareena Kapoor.
Hi.
Kareena, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Pleasure.
You know, I have to say, we don't do any long introductions because in your case especially, you seem to reintroduce yourself all the time. When you work with Salman on a bodyguard, or you work with him on a Mr. or Mrs. Khanna, or a Bajrangi Bhaijaan for that matter.
Yeah.
How is it different? Like, how is it different between, say, Salman or a Jaideep Alawat?
I don't know. I think, Salman obviously is like, he always relies on his persona, his personality, his super duper stardom. He's confident to another level. It's not like he's not aware. He is always, he's kind of like always a bit like, like he's not listening, or he's kind of like sleeping or whatever. He is listening to everything.
He's pretending,
He's
pretending being cool.
Sharp as a knife. But whereas Jaideep is, he's sincere, he's constantly thinking about his character. Even when he's on set, he's a little quiet.
So when you get on a Salman set, for instance, right? Personally for you, would you just just riff off that energy, which is chill, and we'll do what happens?
I think so. I'm like that.
Whereas you'll come prepared far more for something like a Jaane Jaan?
I think so.
Is that what happened?
I think so, because I think in certain films you require a certain persona, and in certain films
you don't.
You require a little bit of focus, character. Mayank, it's about, I want that challenge. I want to dig deeper, dive a little deeper. I don't want to do stardom anymore.
Oh, really?
I want to do what I want to do. I want to, get into that character, get into that role. That's why Jaane Jaan, Buckingham Murders.
Is it true that you watched Mayor of Easttown and told yourself, hey, I want to be Kate Winslet, and that's how Buckingham Murders happened?
The timing was such that, I watched that show 6 times because I thought...
6 times, huh?
She's spectacular. She's just like,
so
biggest
that's
girl
what you
crush,
want to do?
Ever, And just the way she played it. And then Hansal came and he had this story and he sent me a 25-pager and I was reading it. It was about 1 a.m. at night. And, I was like, okay, fine. And my manager, Poonam, was like, read it because, Hansal Mehta's offered this film and, So I was like, and I wasn't finding anything interesting at that time. Maybe I was just bored. I don't know. And so I said, okay, fine, let me just see. So I just PDF'd it, downloaded it and just, I was like, abhi dekhte ye kya hoga, kind of wala.
So was it already something like Mayor of Easttown?
It was a mother and it was a detective. And I hadn't obviously done that. And I read that 25-pager and I went crazy. And I was like, I'll do whatever it takes. Even if I have to.
At some level.
Yeah, I think so. And even if I have to produce this movie or do whatever, but I want to do it.
And you produced it?
And I produced it with Hansal and Ekta. And it's got selected at the British Film Festival. It's an English film. It's 80% English, 20% Hindi. So it's different. That's what I'm saying, that I don't want to do stardom anymore. I want to do...
It's interesting you say that because, back in the day, I think it was around 2012, when you did a movie like Heroine.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember an interview of yours, we said, boss, this is too intense for me, and I don't want to get into these intense parts. What did you mean by that? What had happened that made you...
I think maybe the film didn't work in a way, so it kind of, I'm such an emotional person. I'm also a person that is very like, I'm affected. So if I'm affected at something, I just show it, and I think that was what happened with Heroine. Because I really worked hard on the film and I wanted it to be, everyone was winning national awards for Mother's film. And, somewhere we went wrong. But I still feel that it was like one of my amazing performances. So I think it was maybe that.
Like itna matlab kaam kiya aur fir kuch mila nahi, to kya point kya hai? May as well dance in Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Right?
But then I obviously also had to strike that balance. Like I have to do the commercial, I had to do all of that. And I liked doing that.
Right.
But now obviously it's a different time in cinema also, I think, right? With the whole OTT outbreak, there's, like you said, stars from a different galaxy that are coming, and they're like top level actors here.
Right.
They're playing a different game.
You have to up your game as well.
Yeah. And I want to be kept on my toes now. We don't want to get comfortable and like, just...
I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here, but I have to admit that my favorite superstar Khan, in terms of purely as an actor, is Saif.
Yeah.
There's a coolness about him which is impossible to match by any Indian actor that I know.
Absolutely.
As his life partner, as someone who's known him for many, many years, do you think it's a bummer that when you guys worked together, those films didn't work? Like, say, Tashan.
I think Tashan is a very cool... I think
value.
It is.
Yeah.
The songs, the characters, I think amazingly cult, yeah. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it is
And Kurban, of course.
Kurban. Agent Vinod,
yeah.
I mean, even Saif, Agent Vinod is such a cool film to make. I mean, that kind of like a desi but yet cool bond. I mean, there was something, but it was an intelligent kind of, bond. But yeah, I mean, it is upsetting because I tell him even now that I really want to work with Saif because I think he's one of the finest artists, if I may say, because he is an artist. He'll do a Lal Kaptan. He'll play a different part each time.
Yeah, you could do a Being Cyrus, an English film.
Absolutely.
At the time when there was no OTT. There was an OTT film before OTTs came to India.
Yeah. So, I mean, he kind of... I want to work with him. I tell him even that. So he's like, listen, in a film, I need to be the best. If I'm working with someone that I love, he's like, I don't know how it's going to go, So he's like, because I love you so much that I want you to be the best.
It's interesting. We're making all these hardcore conversations about Mayor of East Town and how you don't want to dig deep. But you really became the star with what you're wearing right now, isn't it? It's the poo, right?
Yeah.
And would that be your breakout performance in terms of the world knowing you right away? Like, boss, I want to be this person, like a pop culture moment, so to say?
I mean, it has to be, of course, that. But I mean, it was the big blockbuster because... You had never, like you said, pop culture. There was never like a mainstream actor who had played that kind of character. And that too in a big blockbuster film with so many stars in it. But it was this character like Pooh, which everyone was talking about. And I mean, 23 years later, we're still discussing that.
Right, yeah.
And it's more relevant today than I think even then.
What do you think?
I think it's just the way she is, the lingo, the language. But that also is in the writing. The way Karan wrote it.
Like Karan says that he got inspired by Alicia Silverstone in Clueless. Did you watch her?
I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah, you'd seen it.
Yeah, but I think he was more of an inspiration, Karan.
Yeah?
Because I think he knows that part the best. But I also enjoyed playing it. So when you enjoy and have fun doing that, somehow it just, comes to life. So I really enjoyed playing Pooh.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.